This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social. I'm now joined by Joe Gallagher, the trainer of Callum Smith here at the Callum Smith and George Groves press conference. Joe, how are you doing?
Not too bad, you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. How excited are you now that the fight's finally been made and you can look forward to, in less than a month's time, getting out there and putting on the show that everybody's been waiting for?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I'm more pleased for Callum Smith, really. He's made mandatory world challenger around 2.5 years ago, so the fact now that he's the fight's on and he's going in the ring to challenge for a world title, I'm really made up for him and looking forward to it.
What were your thoughts at the time when George popped his shoulder? Did you anticipate that it would take this long to get the fight on?
Yeah, all along we've always wanted George Groves in the final. When there was rumours that we've got to do a replacement, we were dead against that. Didn't want Eubank because there wouldn't be no world title in it. And I felt sorry for Callum a little bit because whoever he was due to fight, people would say, well, it wasn't George Groves. So fair play to Camosa and Calla Souderland and World Boxing Super Series for giving the fans what they want, which is the number 1 and 2 seeds, the rightful semi-finalist winners in the final. So yeah.
How long do you feel you guys would have been willing to wait for George?
Was however long it took. There was no time frame on it. We were willing to sit and wait, and that's what we did.
So in George himself, what have you guys been preparing for that you may not have had to previously for Callum's past opponents?
Yeah, listen, George is a very good fighter. Huge fan of his. He's a good boxer. Moves his feet very well. Can hit well with either hand. And he's mentally tough and he's got boxing brain on him. So yeah, it's I know George well, seen him on the circuit for years. I've had him in the gym sparring. I know him well, and yeah, we'll be fully prepared, just like he will be as well.
Just go back to when his shoulder popped in the fight. Was you surprised that he was able to maintain himself through the final round?
Yeah, I think that's lost on a lot of people. The fact that he showed the mental toughness that when the shoulder went, everyone's natural reaction had looked to ref and go, ref my shoulder, but he didn't. He kept it to himself, carried on, won the last round with one hand, and it just showed it in the heat of the moment. He could apply himself mentally very well. He was quick to think. And to react into the best situation instead of drawing the attention to the referee bringing seeing the doctor, possibly getting called off. So yeah, he's got a very good boxing brain.
And on Callum himself now, how excited is he to be able to get this opportunity for his first world title fight, something you've said that he's been waiting for a long time?
Yeah, listen, I feel this is stage 2 of Callum Smith's career. Stage 1, obviously he blew through everybody, beat Patrick Mendy for the English title one, knocked Rocky Fielding out in a round, knocked Mohammadi out in a round, and then we had the politics with the WBC and Darrell and Badou Jack, and then we were frozen out a little bit. So went into the World Boxing Super Series now. This is stage 2. We're here and we're fighting the number 1 super middleweight in the world for all the marbles, and you can't get much better than that, can you? The ring belt, WC Diamond, WBA, the Muhammad Ali Trophy in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure Callum has to pinch himself sometimes, but like I say, it's a fantastic opportunity. I'm sure all of us will be treated like kings over there, and it's an experience we're all looking forward to.
That ring belt, that Rocky belt as people call it, that just adds an extra bit to it, doesn't it? How excited that must make Callum even more excited to have the opportunity to fight for that.
Yeah, of course, and you see George tweeting about it, getting a chance to fight the Rocky belt. You heard there today, there's only been Andre Ward and Joe Kawasaki who have held that super middleweight belt. So for either of them to hold that, I'm sure they'll join an exclusive members club, and yeah, it's great incentive. But I think the incentive for Callum Smith is to become a world champion, and that's what he wants, that WBA belt.
And what are your thoughts as well on the fight taking place in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, listen, wherever it is, like I said earlier, we weren't bothered where the fight was going to take place. We just wanted the fight to happen. Both fighters are used to travelling on the road as amateurs or pros, and yeah, it's a fight. The bell a ring, and a ring's a ring, as they all say, and the best man win.
What's Callum's initial support team like? Is he going to have a lot of fans going over?
Yeah, from what I gather, I've not really spoken much about it, to be honest. I think Cam's just too busy. He's totally focused, training. I know the family are going over, his brothers and that, but outside of that, I don't know, I'm not sure, and I don't think Callum is neither.
When are you guys looking to go over?
Possibly 10 days beforehand.
So what do you know what the time difference is at all?
It's only 2-3 hours, but most of our work will be done then. We want to acclimatise and taking a few sites and get ready for fight week.
And you've just mentioned previously, Callum was mandatory for WBC belt for a long time. It hasn't happened. He comes away with a victory. What types of names would you guys be looking at then? Because it is a packed division at the minute.
Well, Callum Smith, he'll become the number one super middleweight in the world. He'll have the ring belt. I don't think it gets much better than that. I'd tell Callum Smith to retire.
I think just hearing you say ring belt as well, I think it excites you as much as what it must Callum Smith.
Yeah, well, listen, to have that prestige bestowed on you is, I've experienced it as a coach, so it'd be great to have one of my fighters have it, and it's just like you're in an exclusive club. So yeah, listen, there'll be huge names. Obviously, that maybe Abdou Jack, a George rematch, whether Triple G want to move up or a Canelo, we don't know, but we can't talk about them because it's disrespectful to George Groves. We've got to focus on George, and he's a very solid, worthy number one super middleweight in the world, and we've got to be at our best to scalp him.
And how do you see the fight planning out on September 28th?
It's got to be a good fight. It's got to be a good fight. I'm not going to give nothing away. I have an idea what they've got to do. They'll have an idea what we've got to do. And very much I think this is chess at the highest level.
Do you think it's obviously, you'll have an idea, they'll have a game plan as well, but that could easily go out the window in the first round because you never know if injuries or anything could come into it. Do you think that's a fair observation to make, that anything could happen to affect it?
Yeah, I don't think the injuries will be. I think it's everyone's game plan, as they say. All game plans go out the window when you get hit on the chin. And you see with George in his first fight with Carl Froch, delivered lovely right hands in that fight. Callum Smith, everyone was on about his left hooks, but it was his right hands that knocked Rocky Fielding out. So yeah, both have the capability to take each other out. That's what makes it an exciting fight.
How impressed are you with George since he's come back from the Carl Froch fight, and how much he's improved since?
Yeah, George is great. And when he won that world title, everyone was pleased for him. The speech, everything that he'd gone through with the fights with Gutnick, he got down on the floor and Abdou Jack, picked himself up, talked about George, came back, and yeah, so pleased for him. Sense of maturity has been shown over the last 2 years, and he's enjoying boxing, he's enjoying it, and you can enjoy life when you're a world champion, and that's what I want for Callum Smith.
It's refreshing to see Joe, just somebody who just enjoys talking about boxing. I know you've got your own fighter going in with George, but you can see that you're just enjoying talking about the sport. Yeah,
listen, I'm very privileged. I've got a huge 8 days. I've got Callum Smith on the Friday, and the week later I've got Callum Johnson fighting Artur BTBF for the world title in Chicago. So 2 different continents, 2 world title fights.
A lot of
travelling, and but that's what motivates you. That's what gives you. We've had a very good season, and and we've got to start the new season with a bang. Like I said, we had great wins last year. Liam Smith beating Liam Williams, Frank Buglione, Callum Johnson beating him, Paul Butler beating Stuart Hall, Crawler beating Ricky Burns. And Paul Butler and Liam Smith challenging for world titles. So yeah, a very good year.
How is Callum looking ahead of Artur Beterbiev?
Yeah, very good. Just very good. They're all going well, and it's easy for a lot of trainers to say, oh, they're going well for interviews, but training's going really well, and they're both in good mindsets. Callum Johnson, he went to Chicago, seen him, we've studied him, and yeah, both kids are doing well. Huge opportunities, and I take my hat off. Callum Johnson didn't have to take this. They went through the top 10, and there's a few British fighters turned it down, but Callum Johnson went, no, I'll take it. And that's the thing. My fighters want to test themselves against the best in the world, and you've seen Butler with Rodriguez this year, Beefy with Vince Mungaye, Crawler Linares, and now Callum Smith, George Groves. They want to test themselves against the best.
Callum Johnson's obviously going to be the underdog going into it, but given how he defeated Frank Buglione, do you feel that it would be a little foolish for anyone to rule him out?
I've said it all along, he was a sleeping giant in the light heavyweight division who just needed that opportunity, and I said to Callum Johnson, like Callum said in the Sky, you'll be back in the changing rooms in 5 minutes. This is an easy night's work, and it proved out to be, so it's got to be a hard night's work against Artur BTBF, so we've got to do our best, but fair play to him for taking the fight.
Well, Joe, obviously know you want to shoot off, but thanks for talking to us, and best of luck with both fights. Joe, thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.